Hey, Mike with Nerd Problems Gaming here, the channel where we go through the good and bad of everything nerdy to make sure you spend your time on the best of the best. In today's video, we'll be doing a review and how to play video on Drinking Quest Liquor Before Honor, so let's get into it. So Drinking Quest Liquor Before Honor is a simplified RPG that's similar to Dungeons & Dragons, but the roles are all pre-established, and the role of a Dungeon Master is basically taken care of by just flipping over the next card in the quest deck. And so it's a fun party RPG, but let's dive into more on how you play the game, and then I'll go into my full review after that. So like I said, Drinking Quest is a simplified RPG where heroes take on an epic adventure to try and defeat the mighty dragon Fizzfang. And so the objective of the game is to finish the game with the most experience, or XP, to prove your worth. And so at the start of the game, players will choose which hero they want to play as. So for example, we've got a couple here, Chuglox and Chugglass, and then each one of them has their own unique signature drink as well. So what you'll do, for example, you'll take your hero, let's say we were going to play as Chuglox, then you'll also take a character stat sheet, and then you'll simply fill this out based on the numbers here on the card. You also have different starting equipment, so be sure to write that down. Again, it lets you know what your starting drink is. So take that signature drink and have that with you. And for many of these you can use once per quest, but definitely read the card because it's different depending on what character you choose. So once your character sheets are all filled out, you can start the game. And so you can randomly choose who goes first, or you could go by the rule book, and the player that most recently had acid reflux is the player that goes first. And so playing the game is actually really simple. All you need to do is you'll start with quest 1, you shuffle these up, and then players will go through quest 1 by taking turns drawing the top card. And so there's basically two options that you can encounter when you draw a card. You might face a monster, or you might need to do a saving throw. And so a saving throw is pretty simple. It's going to tell you that you need to perform a saving throw based on some kind of ability. So in this case, it's going to be smarts. And then what you need to do is take all 3 of the die, roll them. And so what happens is that once you've rolled all 3 die, the total of those 3 needs to be less than or equal to your character's stat amount in that specific area. So in this case, if I'm playing as Chuglox, his smarts are 8. And so the total between the 3 die would need to be less than or equal to 8 for me to be successful. And so if I'm successful, I'll get some type of bonus listed on the card, or if I fail, I'll get some type of negative punishment for failing. Now when it comes to monsters, this is the other type of encounter you might have when you flip up a card on your turn. So each time that you encounter a monster, it becomes a battle to the death. And so how you start off, you first need to determine who has initiative and who's going to go first between the monster and the current player. So when you encounter a monster, you're going to control your character, and then the player to your right will control the monster. And so to start off, each player is going to roll a 6-sided die. And then you'll see who gets to go first. And so in this case, the hero rolled a 4, the monster rolled a 3, so the hero would get to go first. At this point, you want to refer back to your hero and see what their starting weapon is and what type of attack you're going to use. So in this case, my starting attack is a D6. So at this point, I'm going to simply roll a D6, and luckily in this case, I actually got a 6. And so then what you'll do at this point is I'll take my 6 damage and I'll reduce it by whatever the shield or defense is here. And in this case, it's a 0, so I actually did 6 damage, so I killed the Kraken. So in this case, my hero would get 40 gold and 2 experience. But let's say, for example, I only rolled a 4, so in this case, the monster has 2 HP left, and now the monster would get a turn. So the monster is going to roll a D8, and so in this case, they rolled a 7, so then I would simply refer to my hero's defense, which is currently 0, and I haven't purchased any armor, so I would get 7 damage. And I haven't gotten any damage yet, so I did 8 minus 7, so I have 1 HP left. Again, Chuglox would take another turn, and it's a battle to the death. So if you win, you get the gold and experience and other bonuses listed on the card. But if you lose and die, you have to chug the rest of your drink. And then one thing to note is that you only can chug 1 drink per quest, as to not get too drunk. So if you've already happened to have chugged your drink once during a quest, you can simply take 3 drinks or take 1 drink, whatever the case might be if you happen to die at that point. However, you're not out of the game. You simply restore your health back to full health and continue playing the quest with full health at this point. You just don't get any of the bonuses for killing the monster, and then you're also forced to finish the rest of your drink. Also on your turn, before you flip up a card, you do have the option to visit the shop and buy new gear. So again, how this works, as you defeat monsters, you're going to earn gold, which you can use here in the store. And so what you need to do is you'll just simply find your character on the character sheet, and this lists the different weapons that they can purchase, and then it also shows the associated cost for these items as well. Any player can choose to buy these armor and items, but one thing to note here is that for the armor, each player can only get one of each type, and then when it comes to different things like the bracelet of bouncer ability, and it says stackable, that means players can buy as many as they want, and they'll get this bonus for each one that they have. Also note that you can sell back items and armor that you have for half their price. So if you're about to upgrade to a new weapon, but you're a little short, maybe consider selling your current weapon to allow you to upgrade to the next better one. A final thing to note is that players fully restore their hit points back to full after they finish each quest. But beyond that, that's pretty much how you play Drinking Quest Liquor Before Honor. So now that you know more on how it works, let's jump into my review. Well, again, now that you have a better idea on how the game works, how do I actually feel about it? Well, up to this point, I played several Drinking Quest games, and this one is just as fun as all the other ones. In this game, you take on the roles of the different heroes, but this time around, they're all out of shape because they've been drinking too much and partying too hard. And so again, it's full of fun jokes and situations, just like the other Drinking Quest games. I definitely really enjoyed the scenario where it's kind of like Star Trek based, and I thought that was really funny, and I enjoyed that a lot. But overall, all the different scenarios are a lot of fun as you play. Now, the game itself does say to play 2 to 4 players, but we actually ended up playing a 5-player game, and it worked just as well. The only real difference with that is players are just going to have less turns throughout the game. But again, when we play this, we basically play the entire game start to finish and go through all of the quests, and there's a lot of them in this game. So even if you miss a couple of turns by adding an additional player, it didn't really seem like it made a difference to us. And so again, like the other Drinking Quest games, you play as a bunch of ragtag heroes. And so at the start of the game, you get to pick different characters every time. They each have their own special abilities, their own signature drink, and more. And so again, as you go through the different quests, you'll fight monsters, you'll encounter saving throws. And again, it's kind of like D&D, but simplified. Now, you wouldn't necessarily need to play this game while drinking, but I think that is part of the fun as well. And so I think what is great about this game too is the fact that you don't necessarily need to be as hardcore into RPGs or role-playing games like something such as Dungeons and Dragons, where that can be a great experience, but from what I've found, you need to commit a lot of time to a Dungeons and Dragons session. You know, you have to build your character from scratch, you create your own backstory, you find different weapons, spells, on and on it goes. And again, for your average gamer, that might not be something they're willing to commit to when they play a game. Where with this game, all the characters are already set up. You can just choose the one you want. They have their base stats. There's a couple different weapons you can choose from as you acquire more gold throughout the game to buy better weapons. There's different armors that you can purchase as well. But again, any character can equip them. So again, like I said, it's a little bit more simplified and streamlined for how you play. And because of this, I think it works really well as a drinking type game as well, where you don't have to be too focused, but focused enough where you can have fun with it. And there's obviously different things that you can do throughout the game to sabotage other players, which might cause them to die and finish their drink throughout the game. And so that's a lot of fun too. But overall, the game is very simple to learn, as you can see. You can have a lot of fun with it. I think it has a high replay value as well, as long as you don't play it like back to back multiple days in a row or anything like that. You know, you play it with a different group of friends, you choose different characters at the beginning, you're gonna have a different experience as you go through and play. So overall, I really enjoyed this game. I highly recommend it. I think it's worth adding to your nerd library. So if you guys want to pick up a copy of this game, there'll be links in the description below where you can do so. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button, as it really helps out the channel. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to subscribe and turn on the bell notifications to get the latest updates of new nerd videos we put out. And let me know in the comments below if there's other games like this that are simplified RPGs. I found that these are a lot of fun. They're accessible to different people, no matter their experience in gaming. So let me know in the comments below if there are other great games like this. And if you guys would like to help support the channel, pick out videos and more, become a patron of ours at nerdproblemsgaming.com/Patreon. And if you'd like to plug into our live streams and Let's Plays we do on the channel, you can follow us over on Twitch at nerdproblemsgaming.com/. youtube.com/twitch. But once again, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you more soon.